She cheated, lied, and tried to ruin me in court, and years later she returned with nothing but excuses, expecting me to take her back into the home I made safe for our child. I was washing peanut butter off a butter knife when my ex-wife called to ask if she could move in for just a couple of weeks. It was a Tuesday night, the kind of plain Tuesday that makes you believe life has finally decided to be boring around you. My son, Sam, was at the table turning his homework packet into a topographic map with the side of his pencil. The dog was asleep like a door draft. My brain heard her voice and did the thing where it took a half step backward and braced for old weather. 2 weeks, she said, bright like a sales pitch. Maybe 3. I just need a launch pad. A launch pad. That was new. The last time we talked for longer than the handoff at the curb, she was in some other country selling crystal water bottles on live streams and telling me I was too rooted in scarcity consciousness to understand why rent didn't need to be paid on time if you were aligned with abundance. Before that, she was an aspiring ethical hacker who'd learned exactly enough about cybersecurity to lock herself out of her email and then accused me of changing her passwords through mind control. Before that, she was a yoga teacher who believed gluten had feelings. Where are you staying now? I asked. She sighed, a sound that used to make me feel protective and now felt like a tactic. With friends, she said. It's not sustainable. They're not on the same frequency. I need calm. And Sam. I looked at Sam. He was chewing his lip and counting boxes. Calm is the religion of this house. We built it out of routines and groceries and bedtime and our dog's insistence that socks are meant for sharing. We did not put a guest room in it for chaos. Let's meet tomorrow, I said. Neutral place. Coffee. What about tonight? She said quickly. I'm nearby. Tomorrow, I repeated, and hung up before the part of me that still wants to be the good guy started rummaging around for spare kindness. After Sam fell asleep, I wrote down everything I remembered about the last 3 years. Not the pain is a bad historian, but the facts, dates, messages, the time she borrowed my car and returned it with a new dent and a story about how dents are metaphors. The time she showed up at 1 a.m. and knocked until the neighbor's porch lights came on because she felt a pull to the old timeline. The time she texted from an airport asking if I could facilitate a passport for Sam so he could experience learning in a non-Western way for a few months, which turned out to mean she wanted to take our 9-year-old across an ocean without telling anyone beyond God and Instagram. The time she posted a video crying about how I had abandoned her and the comments were full of women telling her to rise like a phoenix while I answered our son's question about why his friends at school suddenly knew personal things. It sounds like I'm mocking her. I'm not. I married her because when things were good, they were a sunbeam on a hardwood floor. She saw beauty faster than anyone I know. She could make a picnic out of a gas station and a blanket. She could laugh you out of a bad day. She also could turn a decision into a ministry and any boundary into an insult. When she cheated, she said it wasn't cheating because bodies are vessels and love is an ecosystem. When she left, she said she wasn't leaving, she was expanding. When the expansion collapsed into debt and couch surfing and the older flavor of loneliness, she called me. We met at a cafe with plants the size of minor celebrities. She arrived late, wearing sunglasses inside. She hugged me like we were a team again and slipped into the chair across from me with a sigh that tried to enlist me. You look good, she said. I sleep, I said. It came out harsher than I intended. She launched into her story like a TED Talk, the marriage to the DJ in Mexico that wasn't legally binding because the paperwork got lost, the boutique festival that promised to pay her to host a breathwork tent and then didn't, the friends who couldn't hold space for a visionary, the YouTube channel that was going to explode any day now with a series on sovereign parenting. She said sovereign like she'd invented the word. I just need a reset, she said finally. 2 weeks. I'll be out of your hair. I can sleep on the couch. We can do a little family dinner. Sam needs his mother. Sam has his mother, I said. He has her on the schedule we agreed to. He has her at the park and the library and the pizza place with the sticky tables. He doesn't need her living in his house while she learns to go to bed. Her mouth tightened. So that's a no, she said, equal parts disbelief and accusation. It's a boundary, I said. There's a difference. She leaned back and took off her sunglasses like a reveal. The eyes I married were still in there somewhere, beneath the glitter and the hunger. You've always been so small, she said softly. Rules, routines, boxes. No wonder I couldn't breathe. I thought about how my small rules put dinner on tables and clean socks in drawers. Our son breathes better with routines, I said. He sleeps. He knows what Thursday looks like. He knows where the cereal is and that the answer to are we safe is boring. You're punishing me, she said. I'm protecting him, I said. And me. That's when she went for the script that used to undo me. You're not compassionate, she whispered. You've never understood my nervous system. If I had support, I wouldn't be in crisis. I gave you support, I said, gentle and tired. You turned it into a trampoline and launched yourself at the moon. She laughed without humor. You're quoting me. I wrote it down, I said. It helps. She tried a different tack. I can contribute, she said quickly. I can cook. I can clean. I can do school drop-offs. We can do content together, people love co-parenting stories. You could be the steadfast ex-husband. We could monetize the healing. I closed my eyes for a second because if I didn't I was going to stand up and walk into traffic. No, I said. We are not content. We are people. She stared at me like I'd left my body and been replaced by a less entertaining version. So you're heartless, she said finally. You're going to let the mother of your child be homeless. You are not homeless, I said, and pulled a folded list from my pocket. Here are the shelters with openings. Here's a short-term sublet I can help pay for 2 weeks. Here's a co-working space with a decent day rate and good Wi-Fi for your channel. I will cover 3 nights at a hotel, no strings, so you can figure out your next move. But you can't live with me. She didn't look at the paper. This is insulting, she said. I asked for family. You gave me a brochure. You asked for access, I said. I'm offering help. She tucked the list into her bag with the kind of care people reserve for written insults and took a long, careful sip of her iced whatever. If you cared about Sam, you'd want him to see his parents working together, she said. A conscious uncoupling. A home with flow. You set my toothbrush on fire in the sink, I said, deadpan, before I could stop myself. In front of him. Her eyes flashed. That was performance art, she said. I apologized. You posted the apology, I said. With a brand code for the candle company. We sat in the soft cafe noise for a minute that felt like a few years. Outside, a couple argued in sign language and laughed at the same time. My ex's face softened. Please, she said quietly. I'm tired of failing. I believed her. That's the worst part. I believed she was tired. I believed she was scared. I believed she wanted things to be easier in a way that didn't require her to learn the boring, sustaining habits that make ease possible. I also believed that letting her move in would be like opening a window during a dust storm and acting surprised when the mug's filled with grit. I'm not your enemy, I said. But I'm also not your net. I can help in ways that don't burn my house down. She stood up like the chair had pinched her. You'll regret this, she said. Sam will resent you when he learns you made his mother sleep in her car. Sam will not learn that, I said, steady. Because it won't be true. Take the hotel. Let me send you the money now. She shook her head, that quick, disdainful twitch that used to mean the fight was moving from logic to performance. Keep your money, she said. I'll ask people who care. She left without hugging me. The plants by the door nodded as if they'd been through worse. I sat there and watched the ice in my cup slide into one smooth chunk. Then I texted myself a summary of the conversation because documentation is the patron saint of men who once loved the wrong hurricane. I booked the hotel anyway and sent her the confirmation number with a short message. It's there if you need it. She didn't reply. That night Sam asked why I'd had coffee with Mom. We keep our answers age appropriate and boring. Boring is safe. She's figuring out where to live, I said. I told her we can't have guests for a while. Because of the dog? He asked. The dog snored then like a visual aid. Because our house is our calm place, I said. And calm is important for your brain. And mine. He thought about that with the seriousness only 10-year-olds can summon for rules. Can we still get waffles on Saturday? He asked. Obviously, I said. He nodded like a man who had successfully negotiated a treaty. 2 days later, a mutual friend called to tell me my ex had posted a video titled "When Your Co-Parent Weaponizes Stability." She didn't say my name, but we live in a small city and the internet is a megaphone you can carry in your pocket. I didn't watch it. Nora, my girlfriend, steady in a way that still startles me, asked if I wanted her to, and I said no, for the same reason I don't stand outside during lightning and hold up a golf club. What I did do, I emailed my lawyer a heads up. I printed the hotel receipt. I sent the list of resources again, calmly, and added, I'm willing to meet with a mediator to talk about revising the schedule if you get a place nearby. No reply. Then, at 11 p.m., a text, you're limiting me. Court will be interested. Court is only interested in 2 things, what is true, and what is written. I replied, please keep communication on our family wizard. That's what it's for. She left me on read. A week passed. Sam and I made waffles and watched a nature show until the alligator part got too loud. We took the dog to the park. We folded laundry into mountains that lived on the couch for an afternoon. We went to the library and returned books on time. The hotel charge cleared. The sublet had sent a link to one off the market. On Thursday I got a 1-line email, you win. I stared at it until the words stopped being words. This is the part where I'm supposed to say I felt triumphant. I didn't. Relief isn't the same as victory. Relief is an exhale your ribs didn't think they were allowed to do anymore. I made dinner. I set 2 plates. I texted a photo of the dog in a blanket to Nora, who replied with a heart and a be there in 10. I helped Sam with the fraction where the pizza slices multiply unreasonably. Somewhere across town, his mother positioned her phone on a stack of books and filmed a pep talk. Maybe she told the truth. Maybe she told the version where I am a villain and she is a lesson. I hope her channel finds the audience it deserves. Here is what I know. Sometimes love is not a door you hold open. Sometimes love is a lock you turn because the person on the porch sets fire for light. Sometimes being the bad guy in someone else's story is the only way to be the good guy in your kid's real life. Our house is small. It holds shoes by the door and a chart for chores and a dog who believes dinner is any time someone goes into the kitchen. It holds Tuesday nights where peanut butter gets wiped off butter knives and a boy learns fractions and the adults choose boring on purpose. It holds calm. That's the religion here. This morning Sam asked if he could bring extra granola bars to school for the kid who always forgets a snack. Sure, I said. He packed them with the careful pride of a small person who has chosen a kindness. On the way out, he patted the dog and then, unprompted, looked back at me and said, "We're good, right?" "We're good," I said. "Go be loud somewhere else." He grinned and ran. The door shut. The house exhaled. I put the coffee on. I set my phone face down. I stood in the quiet and didn't mistake it for loneliness. I have learned the difference.